Today we're going to take a look at an easy way to step out of your comfort zone and the rewards that await you when you do. Check this out. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, showing you that place of power inside of yourself, where you just have this rock-solid confidence that you could have, do, and be whatever you choose. And the ability to carry this out and do great things in the world. If you'd like to open up this power that's inside of you, and make no mistake, it's inside of you right now, then hit subscribe and welcome aboard. Now, talking about knowing yourself, one of the things that we mistakenly know about ourselves is this idea of our comfort zone. We feel like it's this area that we know very well, that we're used to. It's like our safe space. And even though we may want to reach out and step outside of this comfort zone, the idea of that seems more effortful, more difficult than just staying where it's nice and cozy and comfortable. And I say that this is a mistaken idea because while we feel like this is more comfortable than stepping out beyond, we're not comfortable hanging out here. That's why we're now here looking at this topic. Because you want to get out of this comfort zone. You want to move beyond. And it's this mistaken idea that it takes effort. It's going to be difficult. It's going to take sacrifices. Who says that that has to be the case? Now let me ask you this. Have you ever had the experience where you did something at one point seemed difficult, maybe even impossible, but once you did it, you realized, gee, that was easy. What was I making a big fuss about? Now, I'm sure you have. You probably have done it many times, like all the way back to your childhood. Like maybe when you learned how to ride a bike. That was one of the first instances I can remember stepping out of my comfort zone. And it was a struggle. There was a lot of fear and a lot of pressure. I wanted my parents' approval, to ride a bike. And it was a big challenge. And I kind of vaguely remember the process of doing it, but I remember one clear instance. I was riding the bike in our front yard in the grass. And I think it had like this long banana seat, because at the end of the seat, it had this tube that came up, like a bracket or a brace that went up right behind the seat. And as I was riding through the grass, my dad was running behind me and he was holding this bar to keep me upright because I couldn't balance it on my own yet. And so I'm riding along, my dad's running behind me. And all of a sudden, I look back and I realized he wasn't holding that bar anymore. He was just jogging behind me, but I was riding myself. Now, instead of being elated, going, hey, look, I did it. What do you think my reaction was? Oh no, he's not holding on. I freaked out and I crashed. Now, thankfully, I continued on, I persevered. And I broke out of my comfort zone. If I didn't break out of my comfort zone, guess what? I still would have been riding around a tricycle. I still would be now. Or my little kick scooter. And not enjoying everything that I've enjoyed about riding bicycles ever since. Now, you probably had a similar experience, maybe riding a bike, and now you're enjoying the benefits and the freedom of pushing through that. Or maybe other experiences. Maybe it took stepping out of your comfort zone to ask somebody out on a date. And see, before you got up the nerve to finally do it, your mind was full of doubts and insecurities things like that. But then you did it and you realized, oh, that wasn't so bad. Hey, maybe I am likable. Maybe I can do this. And it wasn't an issue for you after that. Now, I'm going to show you an easy way to move through this comfort zone and break through this really stupid thought that stepping out is going to be more difficult than staying in, because it really is the opposite. A lot of times, hanging out in your comfort zone means escaping from the world, like just sitting on your couch, eating chocolate and ice cream and pizza and watching Netflix, right? What could be more comfortable than that? But how comfortable is that really? I mean, it sounds awfully appealing as opposed to going out and doing something difficult. But while that might sound like a nice, safe, and easy place to hang out, what is that experience really like? There you are, sitting on the couch, eating pizza and chocolate and ice cream, watching Netflix. But while you're doing that, you're sitting there beating yourself up. Oh, I'm lazy, I'm getting fat, my life is slipping away from me. And this Netflix program, I've already watched it. And now I'm trying to watch it again and there's nothing else interesting. And you're just waiting for something to come along to make you happy. But you're just sitting there not happy. And that's what you call your comfort zone? And another misconception is that it's a safe space, right? It's a place where it's your refuge. It's your home base. But it's like being a bird in a cage. Sure, those bars around the cage may seem to offer protection. It's keeping you contained, like in a little jail. And so you're the bird in the cage, looking out the window at all the birds up in the trees, flying around, having a good time, but thinking that you're so smart in your comfort zone. So it's not a safe space. It really isn't. The other misconception about being in the comfort zone is it's a place that you know well. But you know another thing that you know so well? Everything that you can't do, everything that's impossible, basically every thought of limitation that is literally like a bar caging you in. Every thought of limitation is just another bar surrounding you. And that's what you call the place that you know so well and you want to stick to. So now that we've kind of looked at this comfort zone for what it really is, now we can take a look and see there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of pain hanging out there. And maybe stepping out of this comfort zone will relieve us of this effort. And I'll prove that there's effort. There's more effort staying in the comfort zone than moving beyond. See, one of the things that Lester Levinson, the great master, gave us, in addition to this great method that we use here, Lester gave us a way to use our goals, to undo our limitations, to examine ourselves, see what it is that we're holding in mind, see what beliefs that we are holding on to, and taking responsibility for programming those beliefs into our own head and recognizing that we are the programmer, and being the programmer, we could take those beliefs out. If we put them in, we could take them out. And he gave us a very simple and easy process to do it. But the key is using goals as a path for moving forward. So with that in mind, take a look at a goal that's outside of your comfort zone. Maybe, for example, it's a big money goal. Maybe it's a goal of having $1 million. Now, having $1 million, that would be outside of your comfort zone. Could be. Maybe you've never had more than a few thousand or 10,000 in the bank, you know, in your savings or, you know, on hand. So that, couple thousand, that would be your comfort zone. Is that comfortable? And from that perspective, the million is like way outside. And then there's a lot of baggage that comes up with that. Right? I can't do that. That's impossible, not in this economy. And if I do that, then that would bring a lot of bad stuff with it. People would treat me differently. People would judge me. I would be more egotistic. I might even become greedy and, one of those kind of people. So when you imagine moving beyond a place outside of your comfort zone, you got all these thoughts, all this baggage, all these limitations that come up. And this is why Lester stressed using these goals to step outside the comfort zone so you can examine these thoughts. Who said that any of these thoughts had to be true? But if you had a method, a simple technique to eliminate those thoughts so they didn't play in your mind anymore, then what would be in the way for you to just move forward with confidence and clarity and have that goal? So think about a goal. Think about a goal. Maybe a money goal that you would really like to have, but just seems out there. And just look at your mind and its attitude towards this goal. Sure, the mind wants it. It says, oh yeah, that would be wonderful if I had it. But, and take a look at that but. What is that but that's coming up and butting you down? Oh, it's too difficult. I'll never do it anyway. It's too risky. And because of these thoughts, take a look at your inner feeling towards this goal. Because now, as you're looking at this goal with these thoughts, which are baggage that you are already carrying, notice how this is putting you in a place of resisting that. Literally resisting that goal. Oh, I can't do it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'll wait until then. I'll take it seriously then. But now I'm just going to kind of stay in my comfort zone. And feel that resistance that you have towards that goal. Now let me ask you this, how smart is it to resist that goal? If you want it, why resist it? Why have that feeling of pushing it away? Just feel it. And you might even just need to get out of your head and bring your attention to your stomach and chest area. And you might feel like this tightness or contraction, gripping your stomach, your chest, kind of a clenching feeling. And that's your body letting you know you're resisting it. And again, let's take a look at what's going on here and get some clarity about this. See, right now you're thinking, well, I'm just going to procrastinate. I'm going to push off that, undesirable challenge to another day. I'm just going to continue hanging out in my comfort zone just one more day. Thinking that it's your comfort zone, but while you're sitting here in this so-called comfort zone, thinking that this is the easy place to hang out in, you're full of resistance. And you have all these dreams, all these goals of yours, resisting them all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. But now you're aware of it. It's going on all the time. Now let me ask you this. Imagine having this goal. How would you feel if you already had it? It's already done. Would you feel resistance? Or would you feel more nice and easy? More relaxed? More sure of yourself? You feel better, right? More at ease, more peaceful, more confident. And you think that's the hard road. You're in the hard road right now. And notice this resistance. Again, just feel it. Pay attention to it right now. This resistance that you have towards this goal. And maybe you have some judgments about it, past experiences that are coming up. Oh, I tried it, and I tried it again, and it didn't work. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. And all these thoughts come up and they feed this resistance. But take a moment now and just measure this resistance on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being the most resistant and 0 being the least resistant. Just see where you're at. And notice this resistance right here. If you're saying no to that resistance. Because you don't like it when resistance comes up. It doesn't feel good. It feels like effort. Kind of makes you want to go back into that comfort zone and pretend that it's not there. Or escape from it. Go watch Netflix. Go drown yourself in a quart of ice cream. Right? Anything to take your attention off of it. But it still remains. Basically, when that resistance comes up, you say no to it, don't you? Now, when you say no to that resistance, does that make it go away? After you finish that ice cream, after that season of Netflix is complete, guess what? There's that resistance right there waiting for you. You never got away from it. And you're still saying no to it. Now, instead of saying no to that resistance, what I want you to do is just take a look at that resistance right now. And if saying no doesn't work, how about doing the opposite? Just look at that resistance, whatever number that you placed it at. You know, you measured yourself, maybe you're at a 4, or maybe you're at an 8, or maybe you're at a 10, like a solid 10 with that resistance. Now, if saying no to it isn't making the resistance going away, but in fact, making it more solid, then do something different. Say yes to it. Just say yes to the resistance, that's all. And say yes to that resistance even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. And say yes to that resistance even more. And say yes to it even more. Just say yes to it. It's that simple. Y-E-S, that's all. And say yes to that resistance a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. And say yes to it even more. Now measure yourself again. Did that number drop? All right, now let's go a little bit further. See if we can let go of even more resistance. Because it feels better, right? If that number dropped, don't you also feel lighter? More freer? Right? So wherever that resistance is now, maybe it's at a 2, maybe a 0.8, or maybe it just went from like a 10 to an 8. It's okay, it moved. But look at that remaining resistance and say, I love you. I love you, resistance. I love you. I love you unconditionally. I love you if you leave. I love you if you stay. I just love you, period. I love you. Now measure yourself again. And if there's any resistance remaining, just let it all come up. You see, when you're saying no, you're pushing down that resistance and holding on to it. And saying yes, you're allowing it to come up, and it left. That's why the number dropped. So now that you have some momentum, let go pushing down on the rest of that resistance. Just let it all come up. Allow that resistance to arise. Let it come up some more. And just open up. And if you could feel like that tension or contraction in your stomach or your chest, open up an imaginary window or door. And just let that resistance, see it as energy going right on out the door. Just open up and let it leave now. Allow that resistance to arise and just float right on out that door. And more. And even more. And how does that feel? Now when you think about that goal, see if it's as difficult, impossible, and stressful as it seemed a few moments ago. Or does it feel easier, more achievable now? More of a sense like, I can do it. You feel that? And you feel just that lighter feeling? More ease. And this is showing that this whole idea of hanging out in your comfort zone, it's the opposite of what you're imagining it to be and what you're pretending it to be. It takes effort to be limited. It takes effort to keep a wall around you. You keep yourself in a safe space. It's always going to be encroached upon. Those boundaries are always going to be pushed. Why not just remove those boundaries? And if you did, maybe you wouldn't feel any push in your life. And you could reach out and achieve things easily. This is why Lester stressed using goals, so that you could realize that having anything, even if it's $1 million or more, it could be just as easy as it was difficult, even impossible, even in this economy. It's just your own resistance, your own thoughts and feelings, which you can change. You have the power to do that. Now I'll show you how to see this power in yourself fully and completely in a 6-week course called the Conscious Creation Master Course. If you want to learn and master Lester Levinson's method of achieving everything that you set goals for and using just a very simple method, nothing complicated, just the true simplicity of it, I'm going to show you how to do it and succeed at that. If you really want to have those goals, then join me. I'll put a link to it so you can check it out. You could also see in the description below, check it out, the Conscious Creation Master Course. It's showing you everything that's inside of you right now. The power to have, do, and be whatever you choose. Stop playing these games of limitations and these games of effort. Step through, step beyond this uncomfortable zone and feel the freedom and comfort of your power and beingness. You deserve it.